Common sense isn't gone. It just needs a comeback. Common Sense Superheroes with David and Greg.
What's up, and welcome to another episode of Common Sense Superheroes. I am your host, David, and across from me is the bearded one, Gregory Miller. Greg, we are at number 42. Do you by chance have a number 42 in mind?
Well, I do. And let me preface this by as the resident member of the show who complains, I feel like every episode that everything today turns into something racial. I don't in any want to take away from the historical significance of what Jackie Robinson
Of
did,
course not.
what Jackie Robinson meant. And I think people do lose sight. Jackie Robinson was a hell of a baseball player. It wasn't just
Yeah.
that he was the first black baseball player to make
Yeah,
the
he
pros.
was good. He was that good.
Jackie was good. But
Oh,
I would be completely disingenuous and untrue to myself if I recognized anybody other than the absolute greatest closer of all time. I watched him my whole young life. I saw the last pitch he ever threw in his career. One of the most historical moments. Mariano Rivera, when that song came on, game was over. Done.
It was. It was. I hope they don't try to block that and let it play, because when you hear that Enter the Sandman, it's hard not to get hyped, and it's hard not to think just about Mariano Rivera now. That's all you think about because he's so synonymous with that song. And boy, man, when you talk about coming in the game, it just brought fear in hitters' eyes for sure.
And you know what the craziest thing is, especially as we've watched the game evolve over the years, you know, every cat up there now has got 5 or 6 pitches, throwing 98, 99. Dude, I saw that Jacob Mizorowski Friday night. I mean, just repeatedly throwing BBs at 102, 103. Mariano threw one pitch, every pitch. He only had
You
one
knew
pitch.
the cutter was coming, and there's nothing you can
And
do
it
about
was usually 93, 94. And he made the best hitters to have ever hold a bat look foolish more often than not.
Foolish indeed. Hard to top that. Can't top that. So I'm gonna try to I'm gonna put my name out there, but I'm not saying I'm top it. There's 2 that I can bring up. One, Ronnie Lott. I mean, come on. The man, he said you can either cut your finger off, the tip of your finger off and keep playing, or you can take some time off and get it done. And my man said, you know what, just take it off. Still went out there and played. When you talk about tough players, he's one of the first ones that come to mind. And that story gets regurgitated over and over about just how badass he is. And boy, he would hit you. He would hit you.
So
But I gotta go. Go ahead.
Ronnie was probably not the kind that would sit and eat nachos in the dugout while his team was
He's
battling the conditions.
not like me. No, he's not. Ronnie, okay, listen, that was hamstring issues. That's different. It wasn't just a finger, Greg. That was serious, serious issues. But back on the baseball, speaking of Jackie Robinson, can't top that, obviously. But you said the number 42 ended up getting retired because of Jackie Robinson, so you can no longer wear the number 42 anymore. Mariano Rivera was one of the ones that was grandfathered in that was able to wear it throughout the rest of his career. And obviously he's going to be retired with the Yankees anyways. And another one that I could think of, which is another 42 I like, Mo Vaughn. Do you remember Mo Vaughn? My man never got cheated at the plate.
I thought you were going to go with Mike Mussina when you started rolling that M a little bit. But yeah, Mo, the hit dog, man. Mo was fun to watch, brother. Like you
Vaughn.
said, he was going to go up there and get his cuts for sure.
He was pre-David Ortiz, before David Ortiz. Probably not as good as David Ortiz, especially not in big situations, because I feel like every time something big came up, David Ortiz came to bat and usually converted. But Mo Vaughn was fun to watch. I think he started out with the Red Sox mainly, but had some time with the Angels and whatnot. But Mo Vaughn is what I'm picking for the number 42, Greg. And while we're talking baseball, you got to go to a baseball game on Saturday night, and I just happened to be watching it, and wow, what a freaking game. The Braves versus the Brewers. Who do you got? How'd they go?
It was crazy. We had no plans. Last second on Friday night, Haley's parents said they were going up to the game on Saturday. We didn't have any plans, so we actually texted my youngest daughter, Maddie, had some cheerleading obligations, so she wasn't able to go. But even last second, my 17-year-old daughter dropped everything and said she would go to the game with us. So Absolutely beautiful day. It was a little hot and a little muggy, but I mean, a day at Truist Park is always a blast. I will complain about this because I have to. Both of Ozzy's home runs are exactly what I have a problem with in today's game. Neither one of those was a well hit baseball. Neither one of those deserved it. And then I got to get to the ultimate story of my Saturday. It was hot. It was humid. We were sweating. David, you ever left a game early?
I have. I have.
Yeah. So bottom of the eighth, my father-in-law,
My
and
gosh.
nobody argued. I can't blame Mark Burnett. I love you to death. Paw Paw, you're the best. But bottom of the eighth, Paw Paw says, y'all just want to get out of here. And we all kind of, why not? Might as well go ahead and try to beat the traffic. So we're casually strolling into the silver parking deck when we hear the crowd go wild. We hear fireworks exploding.
Had to
Papa
be
looks at his phone and
Richter
goes, "No, it's still 3-2. Nothing happened." I'm going, "Papa, that wasn't nothing that just happened. I heard it. My ears ain't lying. Something happened." I pulled out my phone. Lo and behold, 4-3 final. Ozzy hit it. I didn't even get to see it, but I watched the replay.
Oh,
I'm telling you unequivocally, I wish I'd have been there for the moment. I'm sure it was as electric as it could be, but that is absolutely not deserving of a walk-off home run. That is a misstruck. That's a weak fly ball to right field.
at least it's not BB core bats or metal bats. I mean, you really still had to get it, but I'm with it. I didn't think it was gone. That thing just was carrying the right field that day.
The first one shouldn't have gone.
Some days, I don't know what it is. It will carry to certain parts of that park. There's been times where I've seen guys that I think murdered a ball that's going. I'm like, oh, that's over the chop house, and it's well short of right field. I mean, well short of the warning track. I don't get it. Sometimes that field can carry and not, and it was carrying that day. At least it was for Ozzy. Had 2 home runs that day. Big day for Ozzy. I was watching. I think we flipped over right about the time and caught it, and I was super excited. And I think I texted you because you texted earlier about Eddie Matthews' number being retired. And I texted you, and you were like, "Yeah, unreal." You left out the fact that you didn't even see the damn thing.
I wanted to save that part for the show so you could ridicule me in real time.
But it was a good one. They won that series. The Braves are out west now, so I won't be watching any of the Braves here for the next few weeks,
No.
or it seems like. Can't be staying up that late. Greg, let's top off some sports real quick. You see my hat I'm wearing. I got Tiger. Tiger's back in action. Back in action is not quite right. Back in spotlight, I guess. He came out and actually got back from rehab. Went and did an announcement, basically introducing one of the PGA Tour officials. But he's out there being seen again, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger's always been the kind of guy, like, I never expected him, no matter what he goes through, to be the type to, shirk into the shadows and just try to retreat from it. He's too
Yeah.
much of a public figure to ever get away from it. You can only hope that, and again, it's sad that I feel like we've said this 3 or 4 times over the last decade about Tiger. You can only hope that maybe this time he learned his lesson, he gets his act right, figures out what's important. I mean, 2 beautiful kids. Charlie's going to start playing college golf. Come on, Tiger, get your priorities right, man. Lay off the sauce, lay off the juice, and let's just focus on being a good dad and being an ambassador for the game of golf, even if you can't compete.
I have a friend of mine who they went to Cooperstown to watch their kid play baseball, and they rented a Tesla, full driving Tesla, so they could basically drive itself on the interstate all the way up. They were just sitting there listening to a book while it drove itself. Tiger, you can afford a Tesla. You can afford a high dollar, jam up, show enough good Tesla if you want. Let it do the driving for you. You don't drive anymore. Here's a crazy idea. Hire somebody to drive for you. I get it's freedom, but let somebody drive, please.
Bet you Tiger Woods is nothing more than a simple text away from having Elon make him a custom Tesla just like he wants it.
I know. That's all it takes. I know that there is no possible chance that Tiger's going to come back and win a major. I know. But I want to hope. But there's that little bit in me, much like Serena Williams coming back to play in Wimbledon. She's going to get destroyed. She's not going to probably get out of the first round. But I like seeing the GOATs come back. If Tom Brady came back, I'd be excited to watch it. So I hope Tiger can get back to playing golf. I know it's a long shot, but
I
wanna see
will disagree on a minor scale. Tom and Serena, because of the sports they play, seeing them come back wouldn't mean anything. And again, it's all relative. If at some point within the next 5, 6 years if Tiger's teeing it up at a major, there will always be that little voice in my head that's going to go, you know who that is, right? Like that
I
guy.
know.
I mean, again, when he won that Masters back in 2020, I mean that was not Tiger at his top form. That was not a guy
No.
coming in with his A game.
Was it
He
2020 or
is
2019? Either way.
Yeah, he is still Tiger Woods, and frankly, I still believe his old moniker that he won't tee it up if he doesn't at least think there's a chance he can compete. So I got to think that, I mean, again, you're right. It's a minuscule chance at best, but if he decides to tee it back up at a major, I'm telling you, he thinks he has a shot.
I knew that Jake Paul had no chance to lose to Mike Tyson. I thought Mike Tyson, I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we watching Mike Tyson? This is ridiculous. I knew Mike Tyson stood zero chance. But there was that little bit in me that was like, well, I mean, it is Mike Tyson. And I feel that way about a lot of the GOATs. Even though I knew my brain said nah, my heart was like, come on, just one shot. Let me just see a left hook to take him out. And I just want to see Tiger do something to make a run. Make a run on Saturday to make Sunday interesting. But I know it's not going to happen. Much like it's not going to happen with Serena.
And I think in both of those cases, it might be a little bit of wishful thinking because as much as I would love to see Tiger compete at a major, I wanted to see Mike knock Jake Paul's head off.
I'm becoming more and more liking the Paul brothers. I got to give them props. Very athletic, and what they've done to make themselves that way. It's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get money. I got my AC's on the fritz. I got to figure out some way to get some money, and we'll start doing what Jake Paul and them doing, trying to get money that way.
I tell you, more and more, and I think a little bit of it comes with a little age and wisdom and maturity, hopefully. But I'm getting more capable of seeing things, and the Paul brothers are a perfect example of this, where I can absolutely respect it for what it is, and still not necessarily like it or care for it. But I'm with you. If I thought I could behave like Jake Paul and have money like Jake Paul, oh, I'd be doing it too. Don't lie. I'm not trying to pretend like I wouldn't.
You ain't gotta like it, but it's
I'm still
popular.
waiting on my Cash App from BB to hit. You kept saying that was coming.
I mean, he may have to hold on to it for a little bit now.
He
We got
needs an
some
American
crazy,
on his side
interesting
now.
stuff.
Nobody else likes him. BB, send me some funds. I'll take care of you.
I know. Other sports news: Giannis Atetikupo has gone to the Bucks. I mean, not Bucks. The Miami Heat. Miami Heat. What? I get it. It's Miami, but man, they seem to get anybody they want. They just will bring people in. They won't keep them long. It's hard to play, hard to stay motivated when you're in old Miami, but him down in Miami, South Beach is going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, I know he was excited. And I mean, part of me, and I'm not a big NBA guy, I'll start watching the NBA when playoffs roll around and they all start actually making a little effort and trying a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he was by far the biggest topic of offseason discussion. Where's Giannis going to end up? There are all kind of rumors about different locations, different trade scenarios and stuff like that. I mean, you're right. As far as NBA towns go, Miami's up near the top of the list as far as destinations and places you would want to live. The state of Florida seems to be doing things right. No taxes, things of that nature. Little crime compared to everywhere else. I think Miami's a solid choice for him. It's just a question. I was curious. I was hoping the landing spot would be Boston. I wanted to see him and Jason Tatum be able to link up because that would be a 1-2 duo that would have been pretty darn formidable.
Would be disgusting.
But so much of it, and especially the game of basketball, it is so much about the team and dynamic, the chemistry, how these guys are going to be to play together. And I mean, you go back and look at LeBron James and the Decision. I mean, they put together the first of the real super teams and only won one title together. So This is not any sort of guaranteed thing. Giannis going to Miami. Look, the NBA is as unpredictable as any of the professional sports leagues, and I think we're all just kind of hold our breath and wait to see how they gel and how they look when they get together.
Milwaukee to Miami is going to be a huge difference. I can only imagine. A lot less sausage. Well, more sausage, actually, just a different kind of sausage because let's just say it's a friendly month in the month of June down there. I don't understand the money that's being thrown around for NBA. I don't hardly know anybody that watches it. You look at the numbers as far as viewership, it's down. Not many people watch it. And yet somebody like Trae Young gets like a 4-year, $210 million deal, making 50-something million a year. Wow. I mean, he's going to be hurt 2.5 of those years, but still.
Yeah, so Trey Young's worth $500 million, and people have a problem with Elon Musk being a trillionaire. Like, let's who's contributing something here?
Who's
Like,
contributing more?
uh,
That's a
you know,
damn good point, Greg. I didn't think
it
of that, but yes.
it's sad that, and again, Trey's had an up and down career. I mean, he's fun to watch when he can stay healthy, which is very rare. But unfortunately for him, his career will always be mirrored with Luca, and neither one of them can stay on the court as much as you would like. But I'm sorry, but Trey Young and Luca is not even a fair comparison
Boy,
anymore.
Matt, just think we could have had Luca. I would be honest, when they first said Luca, I'm like, who in the world is that? Not knowing, having a clue. And then when I saw the trade, I was like, for that little guy out of Oklahoma. And speaking of Oklahoma, boy, the Sooners, you got to get hot at the right time, and they got hot at the right time, my friend. Boomer Sooner.
Tell me something, David. Am I the only one? And this makes absolutely no logical or rational sense. But am I the only one that seems to take a little bit of solace or get a little bit of peace whenever the team that knocks you out is the team that ultimately wins it all?
1,000%. 1,000%.
I mean, at least I can say, hey,
at least
the
we
team
lost
that beat
to
us
the
won it all.
champs.
Yeah,
Yes. No, that's way better than the team that beat us got demolished in the next round. No, I agree. Anybody that beats you, I'm automatically rooting for them. I want that team to win. That's standard for the course in my eyes. That's how I
Good.
feel.
Glad it's not just me.
No, but in a total transition, I didn't really want to get into this, Greg, because it's a sad situation all around. But I don't like to view, but I view racism as if the roles were reversed and you still feel as if it's something racist, then perhaps it's racist. This Carmelo Anthony situation, unfortunate name for the actual Carmelo Anthony that played basketball. The Carmelo Anthony situation that came out. Body cam footage has been released. A lot of the surveillance footage that was shown in court has been released. And I thought, well, case closed. Boom, boom, there it is. Nope. Still people out there going crazy and nuts about the fact, calling it a racist situation. And he was just defending himself. He was being bullied. I don't understand what I'm missing, Greg. The long story short is he was at a track meet, and I'm equating it to baseball. Let's say we're having a baseball, and I look up and somebody from an opposing team is in our dugout. Anybody in their right mind will be like, hey, this is our dugout. You need to get out of the dugout. And that's what apparently the Metcalf boys did. They said, hey, listen, you need to get out of our dugout. And Carmelo Anthony said something to the effect of make me. And so they simply grabbed him to push him. And immediately, as soon as they grabbed him, he pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the heart. Now, and then claimed that he put his hands on him first. Now, in no world is that justification for stabbing someone in the heart if they just grab you and try to get you out of their dugout that you're in or their tent that you're in. You come to their space and then they ask you to leave and push you out. That does not justify a stabbing in the heart in my eyes, Greg. And I think if the tables were reversed and it was the other way around, the same people that are crying foul would be crying justification at that point.
Okay. I'm gonna catch my breath here.
I gave you a lot there. Sorry.
Well, for starters, and I might be wrong here, I feel like you intentionally didn't bring this up for the last 2 weeks as you were trying to protect me and let me gather my thoughts.
I know how the wifey gets. I know how you can get.
This is a hot button issue. You started this by saying, we try to examine things through the prism of what if the situation was reversed. Well, David, I'm gonna say something, and this is it's probably the most controversial thing I can say, but I 100% believe this is true. If those situations had been completely reversed and the white kid had gone into the black kid's team's tent and there was a bunch of other black kids around, I don't think the white kid would have made it out alive after stabbing him.
No, probably not. You're right about that.
Like if the roles had been completely reversed, he wouldn't have made it out.
No.
And that's a difference in culture. That's a difference in how, but the problem is, and as this story has continued to unfold and develop, it is more and more becoming just the latest and most perfect example of what's wrong with our society, because we are all looking at the same exact thing. We all know the same facts. We've all seen the same video. We all know the truth, but yet it is being framed completely different based on your race or your political views. And that is a problem when we can no longer focus on the facts and the truth of what happened. This is about as clear cut as it gets of murder. This is murder, nothing short of that. This is not manslaughter. This was not an accident. Look, he went in there to provoke this. Like they told, like the stories leading up to this, he knew what he was doing. He went in that tent on a mission. He was trying to get a response. He was trying to provoke some sort of altercation. Why he had his hand in the bag and on the knife before anything ever went down. That's why it all happened so quickly. He was ready. The moment he was approached, he was going to stab whoever did it and then try to play the victim card, try to play the race card, because anytime a black person does anything, it's the white person's fault. I'm sorry. We've got to fix this. And look, I'm with you. If the situation was reversed, I would 100% feel the same way. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and the truth is the truth. Skin color doesn't matter, and political affiliation doesn't matter.
The whataboutism is big because you bring it up or you saw it brought up and they're like, what about? It's no what about. As quick as they tell us about it's not saying what about, there's no what about. The fact of the matter is he stabbed the dude and killed him for next to nothing. There's not justification in what he did. It's a sad scenario all around. I don't want to see a 17-year-old spend 35 years in prison. I mean, that's ridiculous. Who would want that? And
Well,
who would
and
want, I mean, why would he have a knife with him at a track meet? I mean, that's the weird part. And Jasmine Crockett came out and said, I don't even think it was a big enough night. I don't even think it could have hurt anybody. That's a lie. You all kind of lies are being brought to light, and they're just going, well,
now, look, I do understand that when you're dealing with the legal system, definitions matter, and there are some technical details that are applicable. But Jazzy Jazz legitimately said, I don't even think that could be considered a deadly weapon.
when it
Was
killed
used
somebody.
to kill somebody, that makes it a deadly weapon. Anyway, but that's beside the point. Now, look, it's just we've got to get back to morals and ethics, and this is just a terrible situation. I mean, with them trying to draw the parallels between Austin Metcalf and George Floyd, oh my God, like, are we seriously going to try to go down that path? Dude, I just saw a tweet. I retweeted or re-exed it or whatever, where Asante Samuel, former all-pro NFL cornerback, came up with a list of 5 things Austin Metcalf could have done to avoid this confrontation.
Yeah.
My God, like, are you really putting that out there for public
You putting
consumption?
that
You're
on him?
blaming
Well,
the white kid who got stabbed?
Well, the loving left, as you said, the loving ones, you look at what they were saying. They're talking about digging up Austin Metcalf and pissing on him. They're saying he deserved what he got. They're blaming him, blaming the family. The dad came out for Austin Metcalf and obviously was on a podcast and probably said some stuff he shouldn't have, some inappropriate stuff. That doesn't change the fact of what happened. That doesn't change Austin Metcalf shouldn't have gotten stabbed. My God, the money that they raised for the Carmelo Anthony's defense team, and then what did they do with that money? They still took a court-appointed lawyer and ended up buying a house with that money. Now they're raising money and getting a defense team for the appeal, but you should have took that money from the get-go. I mean, it just seems all fake, all fake outrage, or should I say misguided outrage.
When you factor in the ridiculous amount of love and support Carmelo Anthony has gotten, the financial, like, just bags of money his parents got from the donations. I hate to say it, this is going to happen again. Something like this, something very similar to this will happen again. It's the way these things are framed, the way these things are being packaged to us and presented to us. And I'm sorry, like, we have to talk about this stuff. The news has to be shown. We have to know what's going on. But the way this stuff is packaged and presented to us only exacerbates the issue and makes it worse. David, I've said it before. Get the drum thing ready, because I am not a racist. I'm not joking. I'm legitimately not a racist. But with all this stuff going around, you can't tell me that I'm sorry, if I'm walking up on a group of young black teenagers, I might be a little uncomfortable now, and I wouldn't have even thought about it 5 years ago. Would not have even thought about it.
Yeah.
But it's so out in front of us. It's so right, like, on the screens all the time. And I'm more and more, I'm starting to get on the side. I think every bit of this is intentional. I think this is all just created to cause chaos, sow division between right and left, between black and white, they just want us to all hate each other. And as hard as it is, and as lonely as it is, I'm going to continue to try to stay on the high road. I'm going to try to just do what I believe is right in every situation and not worry about anything I've seen, not let any of that stuff affect who I am. But it's hard. And I have to think for not that I consider myself, grounded and balanced and well adjusted by any means, but I am compared to some of the irrational people out there. And some of these people are going to see this and not be able to handle it at all. And people are going to fly off the hinges because of stuff like this. And it's just going to keep promoting it and it's going to get worse.
When you make a martyr out of folks, and I'll put Louis Mangione in this as well, because the way I can be fair is not just black folks, but if you make a martyr out of somebody like this, don't be surprised when you have copycats. I mean, that's what happens. Look at the way Louis Mangione is looked at. Look at the way probably Tyler Robinson is going to be looked at. He took out, the evil one. I mean, but his family set up. Now, I don't want to say set up, but his family got a new house out of the situation, and obviously that's as a father, as much as I would love a new house, not at the not at the what's the word I'm looking for?
Expense.
Expense of my son's freedom. Not at the expense of my son's freedom by no means. So I don't understand it. If it was such a huge deal and you thought that, I don't know if they just thought, well, listen, he's gonna get off no matter what, because why wouldn't he? You just wasted all that money. I don't get it. And they get on this whole like, oh, it was an all white jury. Well, first off, that's another lie. It was not an all white jury. You had a Hispanic guy in there, I think. You had an Asian. So obviously, you only looked at as two races. Either you're black or you're not. Are you all in the same group if that's not the case?
Well, and again, it doesn't matter, and obviously the folks on the other side will never factor this into the equation. But the I believe the African American population of that particular district is only like 12, 13% or somewhere. So I mean, there's a decent chance that if you just randomly pick 12 people, you might not get a whole lot of black folks in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, but if you go through the voir dire process and several of the African American people on the jury panel flat out said, "Yeah, I'd have a hard time convicting another black person."
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, that's very much cause to strike you off the jury.
Look at the other way around. If it's like, well, I'd have a hard time convicting a white person. I don't think you should be a jury either. I mean,
So,
that's logical to me.
yeah, I mean, it's just the whole thing is I mean,
Very
it's just a
sad.
nasty mess. And again, I don't see any way for or any hope of any of this stuff getting better until we as a nation change the way we frame it and change the way we publicize this stuff.
We started this saying we should just have common sense. That's the podcast we do, common sense. Common sense says, plain and simple, this is an unfortunate situation, but 35 years is 35 years. We're not getting Austin Metcalf back. His family ain't seeing him ever. His twin brother, who was with him from birth, got to watch his young brother die in front of him, all because somebody came into their tent and all they did was tell him to leave and maybe push him away. That's not justification for a murder in my eyes. So common sense tells me that we're lacking it in a lot of this. Speaking of African American, Greg, it happened again. We had the opening of the Barack Obama library. They left Joe Biden's ass out there again at the end. He walked off and left Joe out there again. I got to give Joe props. The man looks good in a suit and Ray-Bans. But you
The
could tell
aviators
he
and the
ain't
air
all
guitar
there.
I mean, the air guitar really sealed the deal for me. That was that guy's that guy occupied the office of the most powerful person in the world for 4 years, and we all know nothing occupies his brain anymore. So it's frightening. It's just terrifying. But I mean, it just goes to show you at the end of the day, when it's coming from the other side, it doesn't matter if it's real, true, or factual. They are just about power.
I 100% believe that Barack Obama should have a library, a presidential library. I think everyone who ran for president or was president should have a presidential library. Having said that, that is ugly. It does not make sense to me. Like, we can't have something better looking than that. It just didn't. It to me, it didn't live up to the hype or the excitement of what Barack Obama brought to it. Now you can $850 million. I feel like you could have done a lot better things, but you don't hear anybody talking about the price tag of that.
And I mean, you mentioned the aesthetics of it, and I think we touched on this on an earlier episode. And it just goes to show, and I mean, it sounds very cliche, but I think that building is in and of itself a microcosm of what the left values. Ain't nothing attractive, nothing aesthetically pleasing. It's a function thing. But you think like, and that's been the case for years. Modern art is not what we had back in the day. Like, there ain't no Michelangelos, ain't no Picassos. It's just not there. Things, as someone who has traveled a little bit, and I went to Paris to make my wife happy, and I loved it. It is a beautiful city. Like to walk around and see churches and buildings that are 400 or 500 years old, and to think that they were capable of producing something that beautiful architecturally 500, 600 years ago. And with current technology and modern inventions, this is the best we can come up with. It's a value proposition, and people just don't value truth and beauty anymore. And so nobody pays any attention to it. I'm with you. It's a monstrosity and a hideous building. Absolutely.
I just think the first African-American president, half African-American, by the way, they don't talk about that, should have something better looking is all I'm saying. And they started the whole procession by giving up props to that it was on some stolen land or whatnot. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? You gotta get whoever ever once owned it, you gotta go give thanks for the people for dying for that land. It just
Well,
ridiculous.
the land acknowledgement at the beginning
Land acknowledgement, that's what I was looking at.
I'm sick and tired of all of those. But I have confirmed through a couple of sources and people I've listened to and read about, they did require ID to attend this event.
Shocking.
You had to present photo ID to attend the grand opening of Obama's thing. Yeah.
How dare they be racist against black people? Because we
you
all
wouldn't
know,
have had to-
accordingly, black folks can't get IDs. Everybody knows that based on what
you
I'm
wouldn't have
told.
needed an ID to elect Obama, but you need an ID to attend the grand opening of his library.
Oh, how funny that is. Oh, man.
It's really
like
not
I
funny.
said, I have to show my ID to go to Costco, damn it. So in order to get beef in bulk, I got to show an ID, but you want me to vote for something as big deal as the president without showing the ID? You're like, well, there's not that much fraud. Well, you could have fooled me because people getting arrested left and right with fraud. We're talking billions of dollars. Cash Patel just earlier came out. In fact, they're trying to find multiple people in billions of dollars of healthcare fraud and all that. It's unbelievable. We want to get all excited, high and mighty about, oh my God, Elon Musk is a trillionaire. Well, there'd be a lot more wealth in his country if we wasn't having people ripping us off left and right. Money would be going to better places. The amount of fraud is insane. Now, you'd have to be silly to think that there's not some sort of voter fraud, but the amount of fraud is insane that's going on.
Well, it is, and there, whether we talk about it with the propensity of how violence is portrayed and how those things are framed, and then you get I mean, more and more, it makes it harder and harder for us normal people to just put our head down and go through life the right way, because you see the world around you, go, well, maybe I should be, in the tens of millions of dollars if I can figure out how to commit some sort of there's just so many things that you see out there that you just go, man, that's not fair. That's not right. And again, I think part of that is by design. I think part of that is is kind of a trap to help break down the system. I think those of us who are wired the way you and I are, we need to continue and possibly even make an even more concerted effort to do it the right way, stay on the high road, and commit to the godly and Christian path, because if we don't, then this whole place is going under quickly.
Yes, we need to stay on the high road. But before we get on that high road, let me just say, Anthony Fauci should be arrested. 100% arrested. He lied. He knew about this issue going on with that. He caused so much damage. He killed many people with vaccines that they were unapproved of, that you pushed and made money from. Allegedly, Bill Gates made upwards of $500 million pushing this vaccine that was not proven to be working. I'm all for vaccines. I think it's a great thing. Don't call me an anti-vaxxer, but any vaccine that comes on that quick, and you knew damn well what this virus was. I mean, my God, you helped create it. I think if you want to get push come to shove, you ask me, I think he helped create this thing, and it somehow got out of the lab, and he tried to cover his tracks by coming out being the savior. And now he's immune from any kind of things going around. Tulsi Gabbard on the last day came out and released a bunch of information showing that Anthony Fauci was a crook, horrible human being. He needs to go to jail.
David, I'm going to disagree with you. Anthony Fauci doesn't need to be arrested, doesn't need to go in jail. He needs to have his head locked in a box and have sand fleas eat off his face like what he did to those beagles.
Yes. Agreed.
And I don't think that was covered by the Biden exemption.
Well,
we may not be able to arrest him, but we can lock his ass in a box and let sand fleas eat off his face.
Do that for it. I know. the stuff that's coming out and is gonna come out in the next 20, 30 years, probably when all the people pass on, you're gonna show we were right. You're gonna show we were right, and we wasn't just right, we was just using common sense in the fact like, "Hold on a second now, what's the percentage of it, and now why are we shutting down everything?"
This is the problem, David. All right, so take the Carmelo Anthony thing, take the Dr. Fauci thing now. I'm Ooh, I almost dropped the F bomb. It almost came out. I am sick and damn tired of being proven right when the other side doesn't care. They don't care whether we're right. It's not about right and wrong from them. They don't
Oh,
care
it's
about
like,
truth
why you
or right.
bringing that up?
Yeah,
What you bringing
like
that up for?
it's
That's
not
been the
about
past. I'm
any of
like,
that.
it's a
And
big part.
so we are wasting our time going, oh yeah, see, I was right about that. Who cares? It doesn't do anything for us. We got to stop worrying about being right and worry about winning and then being right.
I mean, you said it a while back. You got to just kind of stop. And Ty Eves, to his credit, said the same thing in some of the comments. You got to, like when the Michelle Obama thing came out and where it said he's a man, baby. You got to stop worrying about who you're offending because they don't give two shits if they offend you. They don't care anything about it. You can say whatever you want about a Republican, and it does not matter whatsoever. You say one thing about the other side, and they freak out. It's a big deal. I get it, but I'm not gonna say it's unfair because the Lord knows life ain't fair. But at some point, you get tired of just caring about what other people think, and you just speak truth for what it is. And truth of the matter is, this whole COVID situation messed up a lot of folks, ended a lot of friendships, hurt a lot of people just by not telling the truth, just by not you telling the truth. And not only not telling the truth, not even allowing information to come out, hiding information, like banning people who were trying to spread information, their truths. Like, hey, I got this shot and now this is happening. Oh, no, it's not. You're making that up. No, I promise I do. Nope. They were telling you to lie about it. It's unre I keep saying unbelievable, but it's believable at this point. It's believable that they cover it up and it's all for the mighty dollar. You wanna talk about Trump making money? A lot of people made money off the COVID situation. A lot of people made a shit ton of money off of these vaccines that you pushed and demanded on the people, didn't give any kind of freedom to. But you wanna tell us about freedom of speech. Get out of here.
I think as far as we are concerned, as a nation and as a society, and I'm not a philosophical or a psychology expert here, but you got to think about this. Like, very few things have as much of an emotional impact or psychological impact on how people kind of go through their day to day life, other than seeing double standards, seeing things that just aren't the same one way or the other. And we've seen it far too often in the last decade or so, where the people who are clearly on the right side, the people who are clearly telling you the truth, are the ones getting punished and the ones getting admonished, and people who are lying, cheating, committing fraud are the ones that seem to be getting the rewards. And I don't care what the sample size is. I don't care whether it's your three boys, a husband and wife, or an entire nation. When there is that much of a perceived double standard, at some point, the side that's getting the shaft on the double standard is going to break down and revolt. It's just human nature. And I think that's what we're getting really, really close to when you see, I'm sorry, when you see a white kid get stabbed and more of your black population is defending the black guy who committed murder. Like, that's a problem. And that's the kind of stuff that will break down a nation quickly.
Yeah, and if it was the other way around, I would say it's wrong too. You should not defend the white guy if he stabs somebody like that for no apparent reason.
Murder is murder. It doesn't matter what the
Murder is
race
murder.
is. Why is that so? Why is race even a factor in that?
I agree. Race isn't a factor in this Iran deal. I'm upset with it too. Feel like we ain't getting as much as we should, but we'll see. Still time to tell. The reflecting pool is really upsetting me. Boy, they're claiming that people are sabotaging it. I don't know, but either way, it looks bad. Get it fixed is all I'm saying. Something's bad. They over there. If you take a piece of paint out of the damn reflecting pool, they're arresting your ass. So don't be messing around with the reflecting pool, okay? But the algae's got to go. We got to get something pretty before we get to old 250, Greg.
I agree, and I'll have a little bit of faith that even with all of the real stuff going on, I think they'll figure that out. I know how big DT is on image and presentation and stuff. He doesn't want a slimy, ugly reflecting pool when people are flooding the city. Give you. You mentioned being disappointed with the Iran thing. Give me your thoughts. Go a little deeper on that. Tell me why you're disappointed.
Well, I feel as if we get a lot of the same situations that we had under the Obama deal with we a lot less money is given towards them. It was what 150 billion in the Obama deal, and this is 300 billion. Not our money, but money that we released to them. I do understand, however, what they did based on the fact that they shut down the Strait of Hormuz. What they did without a nuclear weapon, imagine what they could do with a nuclear weapon. So I understand we have to have no nuclear weapons. I was told it was that way last summer when we bombed them. Got in, got out quick, boom, boom. And then it was a whole lot bigger deal this time. And yet we're still making arrangements to where they can't have any nuclear weapons for the foreseeable future. And they got to go in and inspect it at any time if they want, which is what was the case under the Obama deal. I haven't seen a big enough difference in those two deals that where if we got, why did we get out of it if we're kind of starting back almost where we was from the get-go?
Try to clean that up a little bit and give you my perspective just on the points that you were talking about. One, and I, again, I think it's substantially different in the Obama deal for two major reasons. One is the initial damage done to their military and to their infrastructure before the deal was negotiated. But two, that also goes to show it, just my opinion, how I think this shakes out is if they don't comply, I think at this point they're pretty much under the understanding, yeah, Donald Trump ain't playing around. He will start bombing them again, and that hanging over their head at least gives some inclination for them to possibly consider, sticking to the deal. But we know who Iran is. I don't anticipate this being a long term thing. I anticipate us having to strike it back up. But I think, again, it's unfortunate that this had to play into the scenario. You would love nothing more than for the president to be immune to all outside factors and just focus on making the best decision for the country. But politics is politics, and the midterm is coming up, and he had to get out right now. But the problem is you had
Why did he start it? He should have waited after the midterms is all I'm saying. I said that from the get-go. Please wait. Why are you doing this, bro?
I agree with you. I think either wait till after the midterms, or I think they should have gone in there more shock and awe and just completely dismantled everything from the beginning and been done in 30 days.
Yeah.
But and I know this is the part that's hard for any of us to digest. I'm also well aware of the fact that JD and Donald and Marco and all those guys, they probably have access to some information I may not know about. There might be some variables and some factors that went into all this that I might not be aware of. And again, I don't. I can't say that I would give the benefit of the doubt to the other side because history tells me how they proceed and how they handle things. Based on the historical evidence of what I know to be Donald Trump as a president, I am comfortable that, look, none of this is ideal, but I'm very comfortable that he has made the best decision he could make every step along the way. And that's all you can ask.
I think a lot of these deals are basically negotiated from those under the big dog. And I think we have JD and Marco over there doing our negotiating. And I kind of like that. I trust those two. I hate to say it. I trust those two more than I do with Donald Trump because I can see him making some kind of bombastic comment and flying off the hinges and doing something that he wishes he wouldn't have. I just wish he would stop saying, hey, if you do this, we're going to bomb the heck out of you. We're going to do this. Either do it or stop saying it. You can't threaten it every time and then never follow through.
What do you mean never follow through? He just bombed the shit out of them for like 30 days.
Not like he's talking. He's out there talking like he's going to eviscerate every single one of them. Not saying that that America has a stomach for that to happen, but you can't keep saying it.
Okay, but David, you're missing the bigger picture. Like if we just, and again, there's part of me that said just make the whole nation of Iran into a glowing glass parking lot.
Yeah.
But Iran is a major, like they're a major world factor economically, like that, like all of this stuff factors in. And look, as much as everybody's complaining about the potential of $300 billion in loans that we're going to help facilitate for them through other European nations, if we'd gone in there and blown everything up, it would have been 600 billion or 700 billion, and they complained even more. Like that's what I'm saying. There's always multiple sides, and there's more variables to it. Like again, if they don't, if they don't follow the lines of the negotiation. And if they do something stupid, which I fully intend them to, I do think he'll ratchet up, and I think we'll do even more damage. But I think, I take this, I draw this parallel. This is like parenting. When your kids are misbehaving, you don't immediately go to the spanking. You threaten them. You try to figure out a more peaceable solution. You try to figure out something where it doesn't get ugly. But at some point, you got to go to where you got to go to get the job done. And I just think and again, I will admit it is because I have faith in this administration to believe that this isn't just puffery and this isn't just talk. If we need to go back and start bombing again, I 100% believe we will. And I think that will be the outcome. I just hope we can make it through, win the midterms, and then go blow them up.
Oh, worried about these midterms, Greg. That's it. Another episode in the books of Common Sense Superheroes. Episode 42, like we said. 42 of them. Wow, we're getting closer to 50. 50, we promised that we would actually go and start actually doing some prep work and get excited about this thing. We ain't making a lot of money yet, or any money for that matter, that I know of. But we're having
BB,
fun
hit me
doing
up.
it.
Greg
Hit
Dog,
us up,
2325.
BB. So we need to follow in the footsteps of the Paul brothers. But I love being able to come on here and tell my opinion, whether you agree or disagree with it. I appreciate it. So when we post this and you got an agreement or disagreement, feel free to let us know. I love it. I appreciate it. And I'm putting it out there now. Ty Eves, I'm going to contact him. He's going to be on our show next. I need to try figure out a way to get him on here next week. Let's try to make that happen. But Greg,
And look, I'm happy to invite somebody who disagrees with us on everything.
yeah,
I've got a couple of people. Believe it or not, I actually have some friends that lean the other way, and I've reached out to a couple of them already. Saying, "Hey, look, come on, I want a good discussion because I'm not scared of what I believe. I know that nothing that's coming out of my mouth is coming from a bad place or any intrinsically poor values. So I'm willing to have talks about things because I think." Again, other than the 10% on this end and the 10% on this end, I think most of us can if somebody's willing to communicate. And that's the hard thing. We don't have communication abilities anymore, and we certainly don't have the ability to communicate through a disagreement. You have to realize when you disagree on something, you may not be able to get the other person to agree with you, and that's got to be okay. You have to figure out how to move forward even with the disagreement, and we have lost that ability these days.
that's why I listen to Abby Phillips' show every night. Watch it. But Greg, as always, leave us with a good word, my friend.
Hey guys, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment, go to David's house, whatever it takes. But the big picture stuff is, and I'm going to focus on the one I always say last, is telling the truth. I ultimately believe that is the one and singular thing that will have the greatest impact on our society moving forward. And again, unfortunately, David, it's not guys like you and I who have very little voice and very little reach. We need the people that matter to make a commitment to start telling the damn truth. If we're going to ever have any hope of fixing this, that's the key. The truth is the key. So get in your Bibles, say your prayers, love each other, and tell the truth. God bless.
Amen. Till next time. Peace.